You're listening to Feel Good Astrology with Louisa Tanner-Munson. To request a reading with Louisa, go to www.feelgoodastrology.com.
Welcome back, Taurus. Now, the first thing I want to talk with you about for this March, feel good forecast, but it's a 5-minute forecast, is, there's so much. March is literally the busiest month of this whole year. So, I guess how I want to handle this is to run through the different events that are going to happen, but then tell you what the overall feel for you is going to be. So the first thing to notice is on the 2nd, there is a slightly more communicative version of you coming up. As Mercury goes into the sign of Pisces, it feels that your friendships are taking on a little bit more, it feels like friendships are a lot more important to you, and that it's a really great time for you to network. And that's lasting really until about the 19th, when you start to feel like you actually don't want to talk that much anymore. You just want a bit of space and a bit of reflection time. So I do see the first, the first couple of weeks in particular are being really quite strongly influenced towards socialization, networking, and creating lasting contacts. And a context for those to exist in. The 7th is a huge day. We've got the full moon in the sign of Virgo. Now, that full moon in the sign of Virgo is in quite a creative place for you. So whilst usually full moons are really, really tense, this is one of the least tense full moons for you. This is one that's really getting you energized, thinking about what you can create and why you haven't created enough. So, the hardest thing about this full moon is you'll probably criticize yourself for not having achieved anything in terms of the immense level of creativity you've got. Speaking of creativity, your ruling planet, which is Venus, is moving into the sign of Taurus on the 16th. Prior to the 16th, it's really in your 12th house, showing that you haven't probably been that active in terms of your creativity and in terms of pushing yourself forward. It's almost like you've been trying to sense the ideas, or you've got the base idea, but there's something missing. It just feels like there's something you can't quite grasp. It's like it's been in your blind spot. But from after the 16th, it feels that your creativity is given a massive boost. And also your general direction just feels a lot more on it. You just feel like you're back into your normal flow and your normal grace. Now, also with Venus going over the first house from the 16th, it really feels that you're noticed more, you're listened to more. Things feel a bit smoother. It feels like your relationships are getting a bit easier. And really what that's down to is your relationship with yourself. It feels like you're starting to admire yourself more. Maybe some of the pinched looks that you've had over the last few months are starting to dissipate. It really starts to feel like you are actually quite comfortable being yourself, which is a great thing. Now, there's also a whole load of other things going on, and I have recorded a lot more videos for you to watch. In particular, I would recommend the Saturn in Aquarius, Pluto in Aquarius, Saturn in Pisces, how to work with that energy over the next short period. And I will put the link below in the show notes. It's a slightly longer video, and it'll give you a much bigger kind of context for what's going on in this particular month. Other things that you need to be aware of, I think, is from the 20th. Again, it's interesting. It feels like there's a sort of a tipping point for you at the moment, in between feeling like you're not quite ready to move forwards and then actually feeling like you are ready to move. It just feels like you're on the balance of holding back. And then, what point is it that you're going to start to move forwards? I do think from the 16th, things get easier. But immediately before then, around about the 12th, things can get really, with the big conjunction between Jupiter and Chiron in the sign of Aries in your 12th house, it's likely to be a time that really brings up a lot of stuff for you. It really stirs a lot. So what I'm seeing with Venus going into your own house 4 days later, what I'm thinking is whatever is stirred up is churned out and processed quite quickly, much quicker than the other signs. So on that count, I think it's really good. On the 20th and the 21st, there is also a new moon. And whilst that's also happening in your 12th house, which could bring up your blind sides, and this feeling of what is hidden can't be understood. I actually think if you sit with the intention of capturing where you're not really understanding yourself, I really think with this new moon, there is a chance to go much deeper than you have in a really, really long time. Last thing that I want to share with you then is the general feeling of Pluto going into the sign of Aquarius is going to shift the way you are seen in the world. So I think what's going on in March is just a small piece of the puzzle to move you forward in life. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. If I can be of any help in the future, then just drop me a line. Lots of love. Bye for now.
To request a reading with Louisa, go to www.feelgoodastrology.com.